All right, nothing fancy, nothing special this week. Been guiding Monday, Tuesday down here pre-fishing a tournament. Got Robert, DJ, Taylor, all down here looking for fish. Hasn't been a lot of fun, I'm gonna be honest with you. Got Steve, he's fetching the ball. Steve says, forget fishing, we're playing tennis ball games. So needed something easy that I could do, something I could throw together. I mean, our choices were no video this week, or something that I could make happen in the limited amount of time that we have. We're about to leave here and go to Port O'Connor. So I figured I've got a lot of questions, a lot of people asking about the boat, about the setup. The light is absolutely terrible on this thing. The boat, the setup, so I'm gonna go over that. You can see what we've been fishing with this week, how the boat's set up, why I use it for what I do. I'm not trying to sell you anything, just showing you what I got, that's it. So the boat is a 2019 JH Outlaw. It's a cat idea. It's got a tri-hole in the front with a pocket tunnel in the back. It can run pretty shallow. Top end on it, realistically 50, 52. It was the high 50s when I got it, but once you put stuff in it. I have a light bar here on the front. I have it mounted down low so that whenever we're running through the fog or at night, that it lights up, keeps things safe for me. You can see the tower over there on Daniel's boat. You've seen it in some of my videos. It's typically strapped down on the front of this one so that we can get up high. It's 6 foot tall. We can get up high. We can see redfish. Many of y'all have taken trips with me, and you can see so much more from that tower. I think the rule is every foot of elevation you get is 10 feet further out you can see. So since the tower's there, we run an Ulterra trolling motor. And the reason we do it is it's all remote control. So when I'm up on the tower and it starts hitting bottom, I can raise it, lower it, do what it needs to do. It's quite the expensive motor, but it's worth it in that application. Oh, then we have let me get out here so you can see it some more. We have the fold up burn bar there. And what it does is it stays down in the wind, it stays out of my way, but whenever I need it, it folds up and attaches to these brackets right here, and so I can get above it. So even whenever I'm guiding, my customers can sit on the tower and sight cast, and I can actually stand on this higher than they are, call out what I see and whatnot, stuff like that. So, and we got some of the gear. We're gonna do a gear video later, but we're using the Laguna liquids. I use a 7-foot medium, and then the Lew's inshores, they're pretty tough. We've been catching them on crankbaits, top waters, plastics. This is the DOA with the knotty hooker jig heads, a 1/4 ounce plastic. The reason I like the 1/4 ounce for red fishing specifically is I can cast it a lot farther. I'm not worried at all about the sink rate. I just want to get the distance out there, and then I throttle my speed to keep it up or down, off of the bottom. Next thing we run these Simrad units. They have Google Mapping built into them, so it helps me. And whenever I get into areas that I don't know, I can see guts, I can see reefs. Again, expensive unit, but the props that I don't tear up now because I can see the reefs really end up paying for it. We use the captain's chairs here. I'm not real young, believe it or not, and I have a lot of herniated discs in my neck, and those captain's chairs, they really alleviate the stress on my back and my neck. You're not hunched over driving. These things, who makes these? Landers. They're long hookouts. Gaff top, gar, hard head. Saves your knuckles, fellas. Use those. I think there's other people that make very similar stuff. Again, not sponsored by Landers. It's a good product. Use it. I like it. We have a rear seat here. The rear seat is the Cadillac of the house. Whenever the boat's bouncing and rough, the back of the boat moves the least. Customers, kids, extra people, whatever. That's the place to be. Down here, my boat, I actually put 2 live wells in it. This is a big one. I can easily put 4 to 5 big redfish in it. I have my O2 here, the stone. Pro tip on the stones. Whenever you get them, after about a year, you want to take some fine sandpaper and sand the top off of them, because as you put fish in that live well, there's slime and the gunk and all that kind of stuff. It gets on that stone and makes it not bubble as well. So you definitely want to keep that thing cleaned off. But this live well is set up with recirculating pumps. It has this stone in it. I also have a Pro Air set up in it. So whenever I turn it on, I can run O2, Pro Air, and recirculate it at the same time. If you want to look at something like that, to be dead honest with you, the Mr. Bubbles from Academy is like 30 bucks. You can buy it. It's got the clip-ons that go on the batteries. You can cut the clips off, wire it directly to a switch on your boat. It's much less expensive than the Pro Air, and I'm gonna be dead honest with you, it's more reliable. It lasts longer. So Mr. Bubbles at Academy, that's a good place to do that. So the Ulterra trolling motor that I showed you earlier, they are remarkably unreliable. So what we have here is a second bracket for a second trolling motor. I keep the Ulterra up front. On tournament day, there's an iPilot sitting on the back that this puck brackets it in. So if my Ulterra goes out for one of the million reasons that they'll go out on you, there's a backup here in the back. So if you're planning on fishing big tournaments, especially ones with long runs, that backup trolling motor can be great. Then in here, this is where I keep my pretty pink net. If you don't have a pink net, you are doing it wrong. This thing is awesome for getting fish out of the live well when you get to weigh in. But I have my Pro Air set up. I can't even remember what this thing's called, Pro O2, something like that. I get this regulator from Bad Marine, and then I have these bottles here, and this actually feeds the oxygen to my front tank. In the summertime, when the water's warm, it's really important if you're fishing a live weigh-in that you want to have as much oxygen as you can get into that water to keep your fish healthy and alive. Another tip for you there, put some ice in there, keep that water cooler. Cooler water holds O2 better than warm water. So if you can keep that water on your fish cool, you're gonna be in much better shape. Then down here is what I use for my coal tank. So a lot of these tournaments, we're only allowed to have the ones we're bringing to weigh in the live well. We can't have extra ones. So whenever I have a fish on deck in my hand, and I know that I'm taking one from the big well out, but I'm not sure which one it is, if I have two that are close, then this live well here, I'm gonna take whichever one I think it is out of the big tank and put it in this tank. Then I will put my stringer fish in here. This one, at that point, that's whenever I'm gonna pull this one out of the small tank, make sure it's the right one, and release it. Or if we're in Louisiana or something, we're fishing a 5-fish stringer, then I'll put 3 in here so they're comfortable, and 2 in the small tank. And for those of you that know how many phones I've been through in the last couple of days, we have gotten ourselves a phone holder. I'm gonna use it, I promise. That's an expensive lesson. That's an expensive one. The motor I run is the Yamaha Show 250. I'm running a 19 OS1 turbo prop on this particular boat. The Show is a very reliable motor. It's not the fastest one that I've ever found, but being a 4-stroke motor, it's I don't have to buy oil. The maintenance on it isn't terrible. It's been a heck of a good motor. I think it's my second or third one that I've been on. So the next thing I run on my boat that has become kind of a trend lately, and it's absolutely fantastic, and they're usually not completely covered in mud, is I have 2 power poles on it. Now the reason that I like to have 2 power poles is whenever I'm guiding, tournament fishing, whatever that may be, if the wind is blowing across the side of my boat and I want to hold my boat parallel to a shoreline, I can actually power pole down with the wind coming across me and my boat isn't going to spin. So again, costs a little bit more money, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. I really don't want to skimp on trying to save a couple pennies in an effort to, make it tougher on me daily on the water. So the double power poles, if you have a boat and you can afford 2 of them, it's worth every single cent. Somebody asked me earlier on Facebook about our popping cork setups. I've done a video on it, but we're running 30-pound braid to the popping cork and then 40-pound mono to a jig head. It's worked well for us for years, so there's no reason to change that out. We have the wet sounds and all that kind of stuff in here, but that's more for frills. The battery plug for the trolling motor. This is a battery tender plug. I don't see these on a lot of boats until you start getting into the tournament guys, but we're all used to the little round one where you plug it in and turn it. This one here it actually sets in like this. You twist it and it locks in and forms a seal here. Since I've switched to these battery tender plugs, I haven't had any more problems with it not working because of corrosion and stuff like that. Also, when you charge your trolling motors, be sure to unplug the trolling motor, because it's gonna kill the circuit so that the batteries charge more efficiently. It's something that somebody taught me not too long ago, and it works really well. But anyhow, guys, I wish I could do some fancy in-studio stuff. I really do. Sometimes time just doesn't allow. We got in from fishing about 30 minutes ago. We're about to wash everything off, pressure wash everything, load them on trailers. We're going to Port O'Connor. Going to try to catch some redfish in a tournament on Saturday. I'm off Sunday, and then I'm guiding Monday through Monday next week. So here's what would be great. I have an idea for what I want to do next week, but in the comments below, if y'all can think of something that I could do, live from here, that would be absolutely fantastic, because I would love for you to have a better idea than I did. Just let me know below what we want to talk about. I know I have some stuff planned for when I get back home, but YouTube, I don't make money on YouTube. This is how I feed my family, so I'm not always home to, cut the videos that you guys are used to. I wish I was, someday maybe. But so that's it. We're gonna load up. We're gonna go to Port O'Connor. I appreciate it. I hope y'all can bear with the less fancy, more raw, style we've got going on here. But I would rather post something than nothing. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the support, and we will catch you on the next one.